Thank you, Michael. That was beautiful. I don't need to know because God knows. Wouldn't it be great if we could actually remember that? I mean, 5 minutes after we leave church. So I thought I had a really great plan for a talk. Stop laughing, because you know how this works. You think you have a really great plan for your life, for the next move, the next choice, and then poof, life happens, right? Yeah. You get a diagnosis you don't want. Someone passes away you love. Somebody smacks your car and gives you all new choices for travel. All kinds of things happen, personally, nationally, globally. We're at a really crazy time on earth, aren't we? Yeah, oh my gosh. And it seems like each thing that challenges our peace of mind is followed quickly by another, and then another. Like we don't get a break lately. And that's why when we come together in a community of what? A community of faith, we look at each other and we want to see a little hope. We want to see a little more joy, don't we? We want someone to see us and to care, to really care. Well, I find myself these days, hold on one second, I'll be right back. I got that stool just in case I needed support, because I find myself these days needing a little more support in my life. I have more questions about my life in particular and questions about human life in general than I think I've ever had across my 80 years. And most of those questions are big. They're big because each one points to even bigger decisions. It's as if the older I get, the more significant the impact of my choices and decisions become, because you know why. I no longer have the luxury of endless time of youth to make corrections. Any of you there? Yeah. Well, two statements of faith that I turn to most often for courage and direction in times of confusion, pain, worry, fear, sorrow. First, Isaiah 43, verse 18. Some of you know it already. It's one of the most quoted statements in Isaiah. And it's very simple. Here it is. Behold, I am doing a new deed. Even now it comes to light. Wow. Behold, I am doing a new deed. Even now it comes to light. And lesson 194 in the workbook for students in A Course in Miracles, I place the future in the hands of God. Neither of these statements tell me what that new thing is, do they? No. Instead, what they do, they're an invitation. They invite me into a deeper relationship with the unknown. And in my mind, when I hear that word unknown or write it, I like to put capital U. This is a relationship that calls for faith and trust. We're in a time on earth that is calling for a lot of faith and a lot of trust. When I say, "Behold, I am doing a new thing," it's as if God is saying this directly to me, dear ones, and something automatically inside relaxes. Just enough. Okay, that very important 2 words, just enough, to become available to possibilities that I could not yet imagine. Not certainties, which I might want, possibilities. That's the kind of faith I really need. The words change the habitat inside me. They touch a quiet place of peace. They invite calm. Faith is not magic, dear ones, and words of faith are certainly not magic. Faith is, and this is new to me, I really love this thought, faith is an environment. Isn't that cool? And it's an environment where trust and vision can grow. Faith doesn't create the new thing. It helps us notice it. So that quote from Isaiah says further, "Can you see what is already beginning?" Can you see what is already beginning? And if we're not looking for it, okay, we usually miss it. So my husband passed away almost 2 years ago, and I started on this journey of who am I now? And I knew that something else wanted to grow, something else wanted to happen in my life, but I couldn't see it. It's really hard to see when you're in bereavement, isn't it? Yeah. And whether you recognize it or not, dear ones, we are all, everyone in this room, in some stage of bereavement over what's happening in our personal life or what's happening in our world. If we're the least bit sensitive, we're grieving. And so we need this faith and trust more than ever. We need vision more than ever. If we're caught in waves of fear and worry and discouragement and grief and even hopelessness, we literally cannot see what wants to grow or what wants to happen next. We can't see what is being revealed. But speaking words of faith keeps our hearts open until the future begins to reveal itself. A woman recently told me, it happened this week, that her brother had passed away just a few days before I was with her. And she hinted that their relationship was very strained. She said through the years, she kept wondering, where is my brother? Where is my brother? And when she received the news this week that he had died, the thought kept coming to her, now I know where he is. Now, I know this woman as a person of strong religious faith. So I knew she was referring to him being with the divine in the arms of God. One of the things I've learned to trust is that life, new life, is often growing deep underground before it appears above the surface. This is true of a forest, of a garden, of a seed planted in a pot. And it's true of faith, too. There's more happening in your life right now than you can imagine. It's growing deep within you. It's preparing you. It always was. It was always there. You were never without it. I was never without it. We were never without it. So we move from faith to trust for a moment here. This first quote, Isaiah 43, says again, "Behold, I am doing a new thing." That's what God is saying to us. That's what Yahweh was saying to his people. Behold, I am doing a new thing. The second quote from A Course in Miracles says, "I place the future in the hands of God." This is what we are saying to God. I place the future in your hands. Now, I will be honest with you. My idea of who or what God is has changed dramatically since my childhood, as I'm sure it has for most of you here. So what exactly, into what am I placing my trust of the future? For me, I'm placing my trust into the mystery of life itself. And I'm not asking for that mystery to be defined. I'm placing it into that which is greater than myself, that which has always held me through my whole existence. If you are here, pinch yourself just to be sure. If you are here, your life has always held you. That's how it got you here. In the hands of God, to me, expresses trust in what is strong enough to hold what I cannot hold by myself. Isn't that great to know that? Yeah. In the hands of God expresses trust in what is strong enough to hold what I cannot yet hold. What is trustworthy enough to receive the weight of our lives. Think about that. What is trustworthy enough? That question does not require a theological answer to be settled, and thank goodness I gave up theology long ago and far away, because it's only one perspective, isn't it? Yeah. What is that question asking? It's asking only that we each discover, each in our own way, for ourselves, what has already proven itself able to hold us. Something brought you here today. Something brought me here today. Something brought us together to get this. This entrustment invites us to release our grip on the future. Oh, that's hard to do. Yeah. The future is unknowable, and just in case anybody here didn't live long enough to have this realization, it was always unknowable, right? Oh, that's right. It's always unknowable. But we're everywhere along this journey of human life, absolutely everywhere. There is that which allows us to learn and grow and flourish if we will give it attention. Trust is the living soil in which faith grows. Some of you may have come here today because you trusted that I would give you a message you could use. I had that same trust. That Spirit would give us, each one of us, a message that we could use in everyday life. Somebody said, I'm their angel. I won't say who that was. I'm not an angel. As a matter of fact, I can't tell you how often I really wish I could be truly bad. I do have those thoughts. They're quite wonderful. They're quite fanciful. And then I catch myself and darn it. Yeah. But that doesn't make anybody an angel. You don't know it, but I am grieving the loss of a 26-year-old great niece who went to lie down and take a nap. Wonderful high school teacher. 26 years old, laid down, died instantly of a blood clot. I am grieving watching a daughter struggle with congestive heart failure. I am grieving for people who told me things even today that bring sadness to me. And yet, we are supposedly a community of faith. What are we going to put our faith into? We're always putting it in something. It's not the news. It's something inside. Something so spectacular that it got you this far through so many struggles in life. And here you sit, resplendent in your allness, in your wonderfulness. Wow. Trust is the living soil in which our faith grows. Faith is how we keep leaning into life. Trust is what we discover is holding us in life. So now, in my elder years, I may not have fewer questions, yet I find myself more willing to accept the unanswerables. They grow daily. The mysteries of just being human. Across a lifetime, dear ones, we each become a vessel shaped over decades by joy and sorrow, certainty and doubt, wellness and health struggles, beginnings and endings, until that vessel becomes capable of holding paradox without spilling hope. We have to stop bleeding out hope. Do you get it? There's a couple of you. Yeah, we have to stop spilling it out. So what does that mean? It means you have to tend the habitat of your inner peace as if it is the most precious thing you own, because you own it or you dismiss it, and there is no in between. I've learned that I can, no matter what, lean into the mystery, because again and again and again, mystery itself has held me. Lesson 194 in A Course in Miracles begins with those words, I place the future in the hands of God. And it closes with this affirming statement, and I will too. No longer is the world our enemy, for we have chosen that we are its friend.